Welcome back to Making the Madness on YouTube. Uh, Transfer season continues, and this time we have Caleb Mills, who has entered the transfer portal. The Houston guard decided to take a leave of absence before they played SMU and has since decided he is going to transfer. Uh, and we don't really know where he's going, but certainly a big loss for Houston.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Caleb Mills coming into the season was voted by the coaches to be the AAC Conference Player of the Year. He decided to leave Houston after dealing with an ankle injury and struggling early in the season. He's now headed elsewhere. He's born in Arden, North Carolina, which is about 2 hour and a half, 2 hours away from Knoxville, Tennessee, where the Volunteers play, obviously, and then about 3 hours away from Chapel Hill, where North Carolina plays. So he's kind of in the middle of a bunch of good programs. There's a lot of teams interested in him: Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky. There's a lot of teams that want this player, and a lot of teams will have a chance at him because he's going to want to go somewhere where he can play and win.
Yeah, he'll definitely get plenty of looks. We won't have his full list yet, but I think you look at Mills, he'll definitely be, everyone could use a high scoring guard that can run the point, can play off the ball, can shoot at high level. So he'll certainly get lots of looks. For Houston, I think the impact for them is just, I think more so to do with the depth. I still think like Jero's a good player. Quentin Grimes is taking a huge leap forward and kind of overshadowed Mills almost. Marcus Sasser is another really good guard. They have the guard play and front court play to really, not miss a beat. But what happens if Quentin Grimes gets in foul trouble? What happens if Marcus Sasser nicks his ankle and is out for a game or something like that happens? That's where I think the issue starts to become. Now they do have Trayvon Mark, who's been pretty good this year, but I still think from a depth perspective, that's where the loss will hit more. Uh, but certainly, he's going to be a hot commodity on the season. And Houston, I do think, gets a little bit worse, not much, but a little bit worse with him transferring.
Yeah, when you look at just the way Kelvin Sampson's been able to navigate, he lost Nate Hinton, who decided to enter the NBA draft early, went undrafted. He could have been back. He was the team's leading rebounder last season. And then you lost Caleb Mills, one of the team's better players, and they're still a top five team in the country. It's just incredible what he's able to do year after year, losing guys like Armani Brooks early, losing guys like Nate Hinton early, and he's able to win every single year.
Yeah, it's very impressive what he's been able to do uh, since at this program, and certainly I think we both expect this program to continue to be at this high of a level because what Kelvin Sampson is building has been certainly special to watch. And yes, losing Caleb Mills, not really good now, but I still think Houston's going to be fine in the long term going forward. But certainly not having Mills they could potentially lose a couple games that they wouldn't otherwise lose had they had Mills in the lineup. That's where I think the loss will most impact them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when we talk about where Mills might land at his next spot, you think about, like I said earlier, Kentucky, North Carolina, Tennessee. I also think about VCU a little bit. They recruit him out of high school. Playing that could help him improve his defense. Bones Highland is likely gone after the year to the NBA, so that could open up a spot to play off the ball next to Ace Baldwin for Mike Rhodes next season. But where I think he'll land is North Carolina. I know we have differing opinions on this one. Unlike the Sheboy pick, I think he's going to North Carolina. You look at what Roy Williams has dealt with recently. He's struggled finding guards. I mean, he even went to the portal last year, got Christian Keeling. He struggled. Cole Anthony didn't have a great season. He was a one and done regardless. Caleb Love, kind of the same deal. He's been terrible this season. He's likely one and done regardless. And then you look at guys who have done it before. Caleb Mills was tremendous as a freshman for Houston. I think he could step into North Carolina, start right away, and be a really good player for Roy Williams. I just don't see a way that Roy Williams lets him not end up in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, my pick is Tennessee. I just think so. This is a Tennessee team. They're going to lose Springer and Keon Johnson to the NBA. Now he can come in, play off the ball with Vescovi, kind of playing as the point guard. He can come in, be the two guard. It's right down the road from his hometown. I think it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And you get to go to a program that's been pretty recently the team or the second best team in the SEC over the past 2, 3, 4 years. This is a really, really good Tennessee program. And you get to go there. You get to likely start. He'll probably move Victor Bailey to the 3 guard spot, and then I guess they might play like small ball with Josiah James as the 4, something like that. But he can come in, just make a real impact going forward, and that's going to be for Houston as good as they could possibly get, or for Tennessee to get Caleb Mills. I think going forward next year, I think with all these transfers, they'll end up playing immediately. He can come in even this year and play against some NBA talent in practice, which is another good thing. I just think the fit's it makes too much sense, at least in my opinion, for him not to go there.
Yeah, I think the 1 and 2 is definitely Tennessee and North Carolina. I could see it going either way. But at the end of the day, I think the blue blood of North Carolina, the Jordan aspect of it, I think that gets him to land at North Carolina.
Certainly going to be interesting to track where he goes, but Caleb Mills, highly sought among the mid-year transfers. But we'll see where he goes.